The air was thick with dust and gasoline fumes as Jason Carter pulled his old Ford truck into the parking lot of Maddie's Diner, a rundown joint off Highway 89. The neon sign flickered half-heartedly, struggling to stay lit against the encroaching twilight. He killed the engine, took a slow breath, and adjusted his worn-out baseball cap before stepping out. Inside, the scent of burnt coffee and fried grease hung in the air. The black and white checkered floor was scuffed from decades of boots passing through, and a jukebox sat dead in the corner, a relic from better days. A tired waitress behind the counter glanced up, barely registering him before returning to wiping an already clean countertop. Jason didn't expect a warm welcome. He never did. He wasn't the kind of man people noticed unless they were looking for trouble. He took a seat in a booth near the window, out of habit more than anything, a good vantage point, a clear exit. Some habits never die. As he waited, the door creaked open, and a group of men walked in. Leather vests. Heavy boots. Tattoos winding up their arms like barbed wire. Jason knew the type. Not from bars or roadside diners, but from places where respect wasn't optional, it was the only thing keeping you alive. They settled in at a table near the center of the room, their voices carrying over the low hum of the diner. Jason didn't acknowledge them, didn't even glance their way. He focused on his coffee, swirling the dark liquid as if it held all the answers he needed. But some people don't like being ignored. "Hey, buddy," one of them called out, his voice laced with amusement. "You lost or something?" Jason didn't react. He had nothing to prove. And that was precisely the problem. Another one laughed. "Maybe he's shy. Or maybe he just don't belong here." A slow, creeping silence settled over the diner. The kind that made people hold their breath, made the waitress grip her pen a little tighter. Jason could feel the shift in the air, the way the men were waiting for a response. When they didn't get one of them stood up. He was big. Broad-shouldered, bearded, with knuckles scarred from too many fights and too few victories. He sauntered over, standing too close, his presence meant to be a challenge. "I'm talking to you, boy." Jason sighed, setting his coffee down with deliberate slowness. He finally looked up, meeting the man's eyes with a calmness that was somehow more unsettling than aggression. "Something I can help you with?" His voice was even, controlled. The kind of voice that didn't need to be loud to be heard. The man sneered. "Yeah. You can get the hell out of my seat." Jason didn't move. "Didn't see your name on it." That did it. The man's bravado cracked for half a second before anger took its place. He slammed a fist onto the table, rattling the salt and pepper shakers. The diner went dead silent. Jason didn't flinch. Didn't blink. He just stared. And in that moment, the biker realized something wasn't right. People like Jason didn't get nervous. They didn't shift in their seats or try to talk their way out of trouble. They didn't posture or puff up their chests. They just waited. Patient. Calculated. Because they had already decided how this was going to end. The biker hesitated, just for a breath, and that was all Jason needed to know. "Back off," Jason said quietly. The man snorted, masking his discomfort with forced bravado. "Or what?" Jason's eyes remained steady. "You don't want to find out." The other bikers had risen from their seats now, their confidence bolstered by numbers. 5 in total. The leader, Travis, someone had called him, smirked as he cracked his knuckles. "You got 2 choices, pal," Travis said. "Walk out that door, or we take this outside." Jason exhaled slowly, then picked up his coffee and took a sip. "I'd rather finish my dinner." That was enough. Travis lunged, aiming to grab Jason by the collar. Bad choice. Jason moved like lightning, his hand snapping up to catch Travis's wrist midair. Before the biker could react, Jason twisted, redirecting the man's momentum and sending him crashing into the table with a bone-rattling thud. One down. The others hesitated, but hesitation wasn't an option anymore. They rushed him all at once. Jason was a blur. A sidestep here, a duck there, each movement efficient and precise. One man swung wildly, Jason grabbed his wrist, turned his weight against him, and sent him sprawling into a booth. Another charged, and Jason sidestepped smoothly, guiding the attacker's own momentum straight into the counter. A dull crack echoed as his head met the hard surface. 3 down. The largest of them made a move, reaching for Jason's shoulder. Another mistake. Jason trapped the arm, spun sharply, and took the man to the floor in a fluid motion. His knee pressed down, keeping the biker pinned. "Stay down," Jason murmured. 4 down. The last man hesitated, his hands trembling. Jason didn't move, didn't taunt. He just watched. That was enough. The biker turned and bolted for the door, disappearing into the night. 5 down. Silence filled the diner once more. Jason straightened, adjusting his cap, and glanced at the mess. The waitress clutched the phone behind the counter, her fingers white-knuckled around the receiver. "You okay, ma'am?" Jason asked, his voice as calm as if he'd just asked for the check. She blinked, then nodded mutely. Jason tossed a few bills on the table, then grabbed his coat. As he passed Travis, still groaning on the floor, the biker looked up with dazed disbelief. "Who the hell are you?" he muttered. Jason paused. Then, with a faint smile, he said, "Just a guy trying to finish his dinner." And with that, he stepped out into the night, leaving behind only whispers and questions. The road stretched before him, empty and endless. The fight was already forgotten, just another lesson for those who had underestimated the wrong man. Because some battles are won before they even begin.